Hey, Conor here, IESE Madrid, and want to share with you something I heard from Brene Brown. Brene Brown is a TED Talk, I think one of the top TED Talks in the world, speaks a lot about vulnerability, about courage, and she was on a webinar for the whole of the Entrepreneurs Organization last week, and I have to say she was much better than I expected. I don't like when I underestimate someone, but she was really brilliant. I think I've known her for the talks on courage and vulnerability and opening up, but she was really deep and clear about the research, about the studies she's doing, and very articulate in how she got it across, not as hippie stuff from California, but as thoughtful, worked out stuff of how to apply these ideas of being courageous and openness and vulnerability. But one thing she shared, she talked about a bit of advice she gave to her daughter. And her daughter, after a moment, looked at her and said, "Mum, that's great advice, just really hard to follow." And I loved that concept that very often I throw advice out at people, and the problem isn't the advice, it's how to follow it. But the thing that I wanted to share with you was not about advice. It was about a study that Brene Brown spoke about around compassion and looking at why certain individuals are more compassionate towards other humans, towards humanity as a whole, towards animals. And she spent a long time very interested in this idea of what makes an individual, what makes one individual decide to be compassionate or not. And she spent time with religious organizations, with shamans, with hippie organizations, looking for, where are these people who are highly compassionate? Where can I spend time with them and watch them and see how they do? And she talked about the thing in their studies that they found correlated with high individual compassion was not religious affiliation, was not a background in service jobs or charity. It was that the individuals who are able to set and hold good boundaries are the ones that are most compassionate. And boundaries is what's okay, what's not okay. In the way my friends deal with me, what's okay, what's not okay. How much time is too much. And for me, I know I don't think I'm very good at setting and holding boundaries. I struggle to be clear on what are the boundaries that allow me to dedicate enough time to others so that I can contribute to them. And in my role teaching at IESE, I want to be part of contributing to each person's journey. But at the same time, if I'm involved in every other life, there's not a lot of time and energy left over for my health, for my own thinking, for my writing, for my daughters, for my wife. So this has always been a very difficult balance for me. And I often reflect that in Vistage we talk about 4 fatal fears. And the 4 fatal fears, if you use the acronym FEAR, failure, emotional discomfort, amiss, another way of saying wrong, and R is rejection. And these four fatal fears, each of us have them to some degree. And I think in my own case, the fear of failure and the fear of rejection play a huge role in why I struggle to set and hold boundaries. But my reflection from Brene Brown's work, and maybe this is a question for Brene herself, is if we want to develop more compassionate people, I wonder if we teach people and teach ourselves how to set and hold good boundaries in terms of what is allowed in a working relationship, what is allowed and not allowed in a friendship relationship, what is allowed and not allowed in a family relationship. And instead of having implicit ideas of what is allowed and not allowed, to actually do the work to put it down on paper, make it explicit so we can actually work on it. And this can be very difficult, because I think sometimes when you make implicit understandings between people explicit, it causes conflict. But that conflict is necessary. So to me, the reflection this week is how good are you at setting and holding boundaries with the people around you, in work, in family, in parents from school, the associations you're part of. Do you feel used, or do you feel that you have found the good balance between knowing when you give and knowing when you could stop giving and bring your energy and your time to your own health, to your own family, to your own projects? It's a very difficult balance for me. So this video is more a request for help. How have you learned to set and hold boundaries with your family, to set and hold boundaries with your friends, to be clear about when you're open to be part of social gatherings and when you need to dedicate your time to building and constructing other things? So, and in fact, what comes to mind is the movie The Banshees of Inisherin with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. And that's an epic movie on a remote Irish island about this question of what is friendship and what is allowing someone space to create what they need to create, and what's the right balance between fun friendship in the moment versus building something that will outlast this moment and maybe even outlast your life. So a philosophical reflection, but any thoughts, wise ideas, experiences where you have learned how to set and hold boundaries in a meaningful way. Because by the research of Brene Brown, if you're good at setting and holding boundaries, you can then be fully compassionate about the world. If you're not good at setting and holding boundaries, it becomes very risky to overly be compassionate for other people because you struggle to find where you can then close down and have energy for yourself. So almost a question this week. Anyway, have a good one. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your answers, your emails. It helps me continue this rhetorical journey, sharing videos and learning together about this idea of how to give advice that isn't just easy advice, but it is easy to put into habits in our own life. Have a good one.